One of the top complaints of the Quest 3, probably just after comfort, was battery life. When the Quest 3 first came out, people were surprised to find that when they were running it wirelessly, especially in mixed reality, they might be getting as little as 90 minutes on a full charge. Double the surprise when people were plugging it into their PC, playing this with PC Link, that they were still sometimes running the same amount of battery life they were used to when they were running it standalone. Wireless side has seen a few potential improvements, whether that's turning down the headset's brightness, turning it off the 120 Hz, or the new battery mode that was added, but now Meta is actually saying they're finding ways to fix the link session when it's plugged in or not plugged into a computer. In the last Quest software update to V62 that started rolling out back in February, they actually made a number of improvements to the Quest Link, whether wireless or wired, that's actually showing energy efficiency improvements of battery time up to 50%. Alongside this improvement, this was also when Link got support for 120 Hz refresh rate on the Quest 3 and also had support for the RTX 40 series, the newest line of graphics cards from Nvidia, which had of course worked to play games before, but now these were officially supported. Meta detailed in their blog that it was actually a power consumption reduction of about 30% through Meta Link. This meant that Air Link was up to a better 2 hours and 20 minutes from a 90-minute session. That is much better, but still, depending on the game you're playing, may not be the time you're looking for. If you haven't been following much of this energy journey that the Quest 3's had, it's been interesting because when it first came out, it was so power hungry that even a lot of charging bricks, things couldn't keep up with the headset, and they've been working on these through software updates and things to where now even the original Bobo VR battery packs are keeping up better with them for the people who brought the M2 strap forward from the Quest 2. Meta's own battery strap that was having problems with charging and working, so far for most reports, seems to be fixed. So it's good to see about 6 months in from launch, we are getting solutions to the problems that plagued us for those of us early adopters with the Quest. Another thing that we're seeing being improved as we go on is the haptics across the entire Quest lineup, 2, 3, and Pro. It was actually early last year that Meta released the Haptic Studio and the Haptics SDK for Unity for developers to start working with to develop more fine-tuned haptics, especially for the Pro and the 3 because of the additional dual motors that they have inside the haptics. And now with Beat Saber recently dropping their new Daft Punk music pack, they actually announced they are utilizing this and dropping better haptics as well, even making a joke that the new approved haptics on the Quest promise to be harder, better, faster, and stronger, obviously like the song from the Daft Punk music pack. With that, the entire 10-track list is out, the DLC is available, and surprising and making a lot of Daft Punk fans happy because it did include a lot of their top hits. You can see the whole list on the screen here, but of course you can either go pick up the tracks for $2 per song or get the entire music pack for $13. But we've been curious for a while how the new haptics in the Quest 3 are going to be better utilized, and did you notice a difference if you played Beat Saber after this update dropped? Do you feel better about the haptics? I'd love to know in the comments. Another thing getting a bit easier for Quest users is SideQuest. If you don't know SideQuest is the easiest way to sideload all different kinds of apps onto your Quest. This means apps that aren't officially supported on the Meta Store or even on App Lab can be loaded directly onto it. And it used to be that you had to hook it up to your PC, you had to get an app. Now you can even plug in your Android phone with a USB to it and load it in that way. And then once you have that app directly on the Quest, you can actually install apps from inside the headset, never having to hook it up to a PC again. SideQuest, of course, well known to try all different kinds of free games. Developers use it a lot, but it's also gotten some attention because there are applications that you can use in it to record in better resolution, even change the resolution inside the headset in case you want to play games at the highest possible resolution, even going as far as adjusting CPU, GPU levels, although I wouldn't recommend any of that unless you're very familiar with what you're doing. It's good to see this getting easier. Obviously, the more we can do with our Quest, the more people are able to do, and the more people get interested in developing for it is all good news. This did come at a time as there's been some rumors and uncertainty about what's happening with SideQuest, so it seems like this may be solidifying that it still has a future. As things get easier and the Quest gets more user-friendly, it's interesting to see the steps they're taking to try and reach more of that mainstream audience out there. Meta Horizon Worlds, Meta's free, basically version of VR Chatter Rec Room, is even adding an official Survivor Island. That's correct, that show Survivor that's had all different kinds of iterations is now celebrating its 46th season, dropping Survivor Horizon Island Outlast into Meta's Horizon Worlds. The trailer, of course, showing direct comparison between the actual show and then, of course, people in Horizon Worlds, which don't look nearly as good as the show. Talking about a virtual island and different challenges that you can do with other people or on your own. Of course, being Horizon Worlds, this is still not accessible to everyone. This is Quest and Rift users in the United States and Canada. I could see it spawning off some fun series on certain people's channels, though, of a Survivor-like show. I don't know. I don't think I've watched Survivor in many years, but this has me a little curious about getting back in and checking. Another mainstream area we've been seeing VR break into a bit further is sports, and now Tiny Archers is coming out. This obviously going after the archery crowd, but an interesting thing about this game is it also has support for Artemis, the ultimate smart gaming bow. Granted, that's a $200 accessory, reality. We've seen plenty of bow and arrow games before and plenty of wave shooters, but this one does have me more intrigued because of the bow that actually has force feedback integrated into it. Granted, $200 is a lot if you don't see enough more games take this on, but this is supposed to be coming out April 18th, and I'm wondering, for those of you seeing the trailer for the game, along with the trailer for how the bow works, would you go for it? Would you possibly invest $200 in that? This isn't the first time we've seen mainstream sports try to enter the VR space, and one that we've talked about before, WinVR. I had to bring this up because it's related, not that there's anything new about it, but this is a baseball simulator that advertises the most realistic hitting experience by giving you an attachment to attach your controller to a real-life baseball bat and then swing this around. And surprisingly, on their website, it's showing a lot of pictures of people in the house doing this. Now, there are reviews that say that this is very accurate, it's very realistic, but the thought of putting on a VR headset and then swinging a real-life bat seems very wild to me. I think I prefer the bow method with the bow with force feedback, but as you can see here, some people have already tried it out with mixed results. If the real baseball bat and simulator is a little much though, at least MLB Home Run Derby is actually securing a Quest Store release date. This is a game that has been around actually a really long time, 6 years ago on PCVR and even PSVR, but it's now coming out March 28th on the main Quest Store. Already available on PlayStation VR 2, it was available on Quest App Lab and even Steam. But this one luckily has you swinging your virtual bat without attaching it to a real bat, so maybe something a little more realistic for the baseball fans who just want to play a game at home and aren't practicing their real swing or trying to take out the fishes. And of course, Quest isn't the only new headset we're seeing a lot of improvements across. Vision OS, aka Apple Vision Pro's OS, is out now in 1.1 version, which is improving the personas that people were kind of freaked out at first with the uncanny valley in their FaceTimes, the Mac virtual display, and some other improvements. The personas themselves, Apple says that they've improved the rendering, the hair and makeup appearance, the neck and mouth representation, and the ability to actually capture them hands-free without having to do everything with the headset in front of your face. There's a whole list of other things you see here on the screen, including improved discovery and connection reliability of the Mac virtual displays. Although, unfortunately, it still seems that if you are using your Mac through it, you still only get that one screen. You can make it really big, but people aren't able to pull up multiple monitors yet. A lot of things basically saying improved, positioning, allowing things to be closer to you in the Apple Vision Pro, and more polish and stability. But with the improvements, there's also been more rumors about patents showing what it might look like to actually get a controller for the Apple Vision Pro. And although people had envisioned different kinds of regular-looking VR controllers, some people are saying it may be more something like the Apple Pencil. There was a patent published on February 29th showing a stylus-like controller that enables the user to input to an XR headset. I feel like this makes sense from Apple's perspective, and especially the perspective that something like an Apple Pencil is something most people are used to using a pen or a pencil, and it would feel more natural than something like a Quest controller, which when you first hold it feels completely foreign because it's not really like a PlayStation controller or anything else you're used to. The patent talks about using swiping motions and waving motions, and even about possibly docking it somewhere to the headset and wirelessly charging. It doesn't state whether that's the current Apple Vision Pro or a future iteration, but it does make you wonder, is there already a spot on the Vision Pro with built-in magnets where you could snap a pencil on there and it would charge already? That'd be forward thinking of them, and that'd be pretty cool if that was what they did. We've been here talking VR for years now, hoping to see it get more close to the mainstream, hoping to see all these improvements, and it feels like more and more of the news is exciting and positive, especially as Apple has entered the space, even though reports are going back and forth on whether or not they are succeeding. It seems like it's got a lot to talk about and a lot going on for us, which excites me, but how do you feel about it? Let me know down below. I'd love to talk with you about it. Thank you once again for being here with me. I'll see you in another reality.